that's a hell of a transition away from one Peter Prisco. We appreciate Pete coming on tonight. Also appreciate, speaking of appreciation, I appreciate Eric Dillard from Target 1974 for not hitting the illegal substances while we had our professional guest on. So shout out to you too, Dilla.
Thank you. I'm a team player, and shout out to Pete Prisco, who had to leave the Bold Take Pod to go to the NFL Network. I'm just saying, it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that's pretty legit. We really appreciate Pete coming on. How about before we get into schedule talk and away trip talk and all that stuff, how about we address kind of some of the elephants in the room there? I feel like Petey wanted to really make a splash on his debut on the pod here, and he might have dropped a couple of nuggets of knowledge right there in the middle, Dilla. Let's speak on that before we go any further.
Yeah, so I think the first thing, and really, I mean, obviously both things made you like think, but hearing him talk about the facility that seems like it's so far in the plans that they know where it's going to be and maybe even know how many properties they need to buy to knock down to build it. I thought that was pretty interesting. That's been completely under wraps. That's exciting news. I feel like, why would they build that if they didn't have plans for the stadium too? So it's interesting. I don't know. It makes me think.
Yeah, I think with that, immediately when he said that, I was like, hadn't heard that before. And then he like casually just started mentioning knocking down houses and buying them up. And I'm like, okay, that sounds very NFL-ish. So I can believe that. But then my mind went to where exactly, because, you know, like the Arlington Expressways kind of there, unless you go over towards where that Touchdown Grill is, and then you get much closer to the to the south there, to the east.
I would think he's talking about the north side of the Arlington Expressway.
Yeah, he is. He said that it's north of the practice fields now, so that would be like go A. Philip Randolph underneath in that area right there.
Well, that's not good either, because that's where the Armada Stadium's supposed to be.
I was going to say that's where soccer was supposed to be.
What I pictured in my head was like either next to the soccer or like up past it is what I pictured, because that's where like actual houses are, is like a little bit past that.
Yeah, as long as they ain't taking out the Duval house, you know, like how I said that, like Urban Meyer too.
Yeah,
Duval,
the Duval house. As long as they're not taking out the Duval house, which shout out to the homie John Phillips, really put together one of the sweetest spots near a stadium that's fan owned that I can think of. Little jealous and a little upset with myself that I didn't jump at the chance to go in on that with him a little earlier on. But yeah, that's okay. We probably wouldn't be able to have the same Bold City Brigade tailgate if we moved it there. So there's that was one of the reasons why at the time I was like, I don't even know how I would navigate all this. But yeah, anyway, so that was an interesting nugget of knowledge. I think like Dilla said, they must have some plans for the stadium then. And that, I think that helps solidify too. That's just even more investment in the Jaguars being here, maybe more importantly being downtown. So all that's cool. That was a really awesome bit of knowledge. What about Dilla? I know you were saying briefly that you maybe have heard some of the rumblings about Minshew last year, whether it be not being everybody's favorite teammate, or more specifically for me hearing, that was the first time I heard when Pete just said that Jay Gruden wasn't a big fan.
And yeah, I mean, I think we didn't hear that much of, or anyone to really elaborate on the Jay Gruden situation, because it was really well known how Marone felt about Minshew. You know what I mean? I mean, they said straight up, like, it doesn't really matter which of the quarterbacks plays. They all give us the same chance of winning. And when you're talking about a career loser like Glennon, who's literally like gotten 3 teams the first overall pick.
Shut up, Mike.
That's not like a very complimentary thing to say. But when we, as fans who, we can sit down and watch film and like see what they're doing and understand what's going on, but we're not going to sit there and, call out techniques and all this, that, and the other. But you could really see Gardner Minshew's brain lock up when he played. Pete talked about it earlier. The offensive line was a worse product overall and a worse statistical unit overall because of things Minshew did. whether it be holding onto the ball, running out of good pockets, everything you don't want from a quarterback. So when you know an offensive coordinator like Gruden, who's had a serious history of being really good, especially as a coordinator, you couldn't say whatever you want about his head coaching career, but Andy Dalton was a guy who was he was there heady and he didn't have all the tools, but because he was heady, he was able to make the plays, that were on script, on par with what they were going on, everything that was, going with this scheme. So I guess it's not really surprising to hear. It's not also, like you said, the first time I'd heard that, but hearing it from Pete, it almost makes it, solidified fact for me. But it's just more of the same. Everything we've already thought about Minshew. He's nowhere near as good as his stats show, and his stats aren't even that great. His stats are like bottom end starter, high end backup. But I thought it was interesting that he brought that up too. If the coach doesn't like him, and then two, I think the even bigger picture, which I guess I didn't realize this last year. Pete said that he had scored on a touchdown and no one celebrated with him.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. It'd be interesting if one of the internet sleuths out there wants to go back and kind of look at some of that stuff.
And we know for sure DJ Chark had bad body language with him, especially in the Baltimore Ravens game. So it makes me wonder. It's not anything I've picked up on or seen people talk about before, but it's definitely something I'm curious to see, because I think that's telling as hell. If they didn't like him then, why would they like him now?
Yeah, and luckily we don't have to worry too much about that anymore, which is great.
Yeah.
So, I think in some ways we're rehashing stuff that doesn't matter a ton, but it was just the fact that he kind of made it a point to mention that that I wanted to highlight it. I think as well, and I almost said this, but I really wanted to move on in the conversation with Pete because I knew he had to go and we were limited on time. But I wonder when it comes to, you asked the question specifically, Sally, about could he be a backup? Like, could he be the backup? Is he a career backup? Is that what he is? And Pete, very bluntly and very succinctly answered that. He wasn't even sure that he's a true number two. I wonder if he has a similar career to Chase Daniel. Excuse me. If he has a similar career to Chase Daniel, if he doesn't have all the shtick. So that's what's interesting to me. And I think that's part of, because that kind of, so when we talked about it when it was going on, we talked about it, during the season, after the season, even with the fan base, the shtick was really fun when he was exciting and we were competing and we were winning some games and it was new and it was really fun. But that kind of thing can grate on people really quickly if you're not producing.
And I'm not sure it was all shtick with him too. You know what I mean? If people in the locker room were tired of that shit, then maybe maybe that's just him.
Maybe not shtick then. Maybe shtick is the wrong word. Maybe persona, right? Yeah. Maybe that's just his persona. That is who he is.
Right.
I think that's something that does wear on people. Yeah. And you get kind of tired of like, okay, bro, we're 1-15. Awesome mullet.
Stop with your fucking short shorts. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and to your point, Sally, that's who he is. That's who he is. But my question to Pete was going to be like, does that element of him potentially limit him long-term? Right. Because Pete said specifically, he's the competitive guy. So Pete doesn't think he's going to be here next year. Pete doesn't think what a lot of fans out there, you listen to the average Jaguar fan, they say, why would we get rid of Minshew? We potentially got a stud franchise quarterback and we've got a really legit quality backup right here on the roster. And Pete was very clear that he thinks that Minshew's never going to be satisfied totally being a Case Keenum or a Chase Daniel or whatever, whatever have you. So that was kind of interesting to me too. I don't know that I've heard people say it so bluntly. I've had those thoughts. I know we've had those conversations, but to say, I don't think there's any way that he's on this team next year or that he should be. That was another point as well. So
I like how we're just burying every quarterback. Now that we have Trevor Lawrence, it's like, all right, we got to talk. We got to get Tebow out of here. We got to get that skeleton out of our closet. Let's bury Minshew. I'm sure next week we're going to bury our boy, the boat.
No, the boat is goated.
Yeah, he's good.
But with, so it's funny because I was thinking about this as Dilla was saying that officially Blake has been signed by the by the Packers, it's like reunion day. It's like the past and the future all in one episode. Dilla's not even looking. Look at him. He's not even looking. He's just sitting there nodding. He wasn't even looking.
Call that good YouTubing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So the question I have for you fellas is, if Trevor ends up being like a top 5, top 10 QB after year 1 or 2, then, I mean, it's pretty clear that the Jaguars are the best quarterback franchise in the league, right? Because then we'd have Minshew somewhere. Blaine Gabbert just got a ring. The boat's up there with the Packers.
Foles still somehow has a little bit of trade value, probably.
Yeah. I mean, like, talk about QB factory.
The next team that wants to tank to get the first overall pick will probably sign Glennon.
Oh my goodness.
Someone did sign Glennon. I don't know where he signed, but he signed somewhere.
Shout out to that team for getting the number 1 pick next year.
Yeah, I think
Hopefully
it was
somebody
like
good.
the Indian Football League or something.
I do want to say, speaking of our conversation with Pete, I just want to point out for anybody listening out there how, normally we have on our guests and they're very generous. They stay with us for 90 minutes. They cover every topic from like what they got on their first book report in 3rd grade to, what they think about our 4th string tight end or whatever we're trying to sign.
Fuck, kill.
But, marry, fuck, kill. Yeah. So, but when we have a professional who needs to get on NFL Network, we can put it together, a timely, succinct interview where we get to the point, we get some good nuggets out of him, and then we get him on his way. You see how we do that?
That's right. That's right.
Multi-talented here at the Bold Take.
The brand is strong. So the schedule released. Before we get into individual games, what we're most excited about, where we want to go on away trips, any of that stuff, overall impression of the schedule from both of you guys?
Slightly underwhelming. I thought we would get a Thursday night and a Monday night, and the fact that we didn't get a Monday night, I knew we weren't going to get a Sunday night. I just that's like super prestigious. That's like the cream of the crop shit right now. So like I completely understood that, but I was pretty sure we were going to get either Joe Burrow or Zach Wilson Monday night action. And the fact that we get Joe Burrow Thursday night football, which is kind of like the shit stain of prime time, and then we get Zach Wilson the day after Christmas, it's almost like they still don't give a fuck and they want to see like what we offer as a team before they're going to force everybody to watch us.
Prove it.
I can't believe I said they don't give a fuck. Someone says we force our cussing. I was going to try not to do that.
Fuck them. Dolly, what for you? What's the overall impression?
Yeah, I mean, the 1 p.m. for all the home games is the impression for me. I would have liked it. Even a 4, I mean, would be nice. I guess if we get competitive, we'll probably get flexed. But, for selfish reasons, wanted that New York game early in the season. I think we all did. We all wanted to try to hit that up, but Seems like Houston seems to be potentially the consensus for trying to hit one up early in the year, which I can get down with. Seattle or LA is also on my radar, but a little disappointed not to even have a 4:00 kick at home.
So that's your overall with it. Yeah.
And the last point too is also the start is not super challenging. You're not seeing like top 10 QBs to start off the season as opponents, which is nice. So we can get off to a hot start.
Yeah. I think that was one of the, especially since shout out to Keanu and the Dillical and everybody else that was hard at work trying to get schedule stuff. We kind of knew early on the first 2 to 4 games, and I say early on, yesterday. And that's a long time ago. But I think that was everybody's initial impression as that stuff started to leak out, was like, yo, that's not too bad. Like, we've had worse or more difficult starts to the season. As far as going back to what Dilla said with the just kind of the disappointment or slight disappointment, let down of not having some other primetime game, I was talking to somebody about this earlier. I equate it to after 2017 when the Jags were hot, the brand was hot. Like we had personalities. The team had just come off a really good season. it was a team that was kind of entertaining with the characters and all of those things. And we had some prime time and we proceeded to completely shit the bed. So I guess I get it from that standpoint. I did expect at least 2 evening games, like 2 night games, like you said, like probably a Monday night and a Thursday night, and maybe neither of them being at home even. But so I thought that would come from, obviously from Trevor, but from Urban and everything that carried. So maybe I guess that shows us they're still not completely sure. And I think the other of the not having a bunch of prime time or really any is the NFL now probably is approaching teams like us, smaller market, not proven, coming off a terrible season, and saying, hey, if they are good later in the season, we can flex them because we've just changed all that. You know what I mean? So it probably makes more sense to flex us in than have to flex us out. And like they had to do the last time. But so that is, I saw some people I think some people really had their expectations probably absolutely obliterated, because there were some folks that were like, oh, we might get a Sunday night game. We might and I'm like, no way, dude. We've had like one half of a Sunday night game in the history of our franchise.
And the same people who were upset we didn't have 3 or 4 primetime games don't understand why New Orleans got 5. And I'm just like, if you don't understand the product and the business, then like, how can you even understand how the Jaguars are going to get anything like this? And maybe 5 is too many, sure, but like when you think of the market, and they still have Sean Payton, and Jameis Winston looked decent last year when he played. So now you got a full year of Jameis, and there's something to watch. Taysom Hill is a talking point every time you turn on an NFL channel. So like, I get it.
The Superdome is made for TV too. This shit looks good on TV.
And if you don't understand it, it's really easy for me to see why a team like that gets 5 and we get 1.
I can't say that, I don't want to sit here and spend a bunch of time debating this with you, but at the same time, I can see why they get 5 if they have Drew Brees. I personally do not want to watch the Saints 5 times this year without Drew Brees.
No, I understand that too, but if you think the schedule got made in the last 2 weeks, like it didn't.
I mean, it's been made over the last couple of months, but Drew Brees has been out of the picture since then.
Nah.
Yeah. When did he officially? Yeah, he officially announced his retirement, like right at the end of the season, right?
No, you're making stuff up.
Look it up.
I'm about to look it up.
I have no idea when he did it, but I'm just saying that he didn't.
It's good TV. This is good TV. You're like Stephen A. Smith right now.
I'm like the producer who's searching it up.
Hey, if I'm Stephen A. Smith, that makes you fucking skip.
March 14th, 2021. So it's less than 2 months.
Yes, March 14th.
This is Goodilla acting like he knew that. You see, I told you, March 14th. Point being, nobody wants to watch the Saints 5 times this year. I don't care if
5 is too fucking many, but like them
Well,
having
that's not what I'm saying.
times.
I'm not saying I want to watch them 5 times. I'm saying I understand why the dumb fuck league gave the Saints 5 of them. The same reason we got to watch the NFC East play their whole division game on national TV.
Yeah, but the Saints don't have that level of fan base, bro. That market's not that much bigger than ours. Like, it's not.
Since the hurricane, since Katrina, that's a whole different place.
With Drew Brees is the point. With Drew Brees.
Yeah, they made the schedule with Drew Brees on the team.
Now they got fast Tebow playing fucking quarterback. So,
No, they got Jameis.
Okay. Well, that's not what Sean Payton keeps telling us.
Yeah, but see, come on. We don't listen to head coaches. That's the first rule.
I thought they always tell the truth.
Dude, our 4th string tight end has more playoff wins than their starting quarterback, bro.
Either one of them. That's true.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah.
Call this Winstonville, not Winstonville. All right. Well, as far as everything else with it, it was total dog shit that the Jets game is, unlike probably the most insignificant Sunday of the season.
I feel like they might flex that one.
So do I. I have a feeling that one's gonna get flexed.
Unless we're both like 4-12 at that point or whatever.
No, that's what I'm saying. That would have to mean the Jets are good because going to be like competing for a wild card. So
The real
only
reason that Jets game isn't in prime time is because Zach Wilson is going to be fucking buns.
Yeah, and his mom's on like Snapchat, like screaming QAnon shit, saying that you need to teach your kids to make dinner while she's making a grilled cheese sandwich. Like, come on, lady.
Hey, shout out to, speaking of Zach Wilson's mom, shout
She's
out.
hot.
She is. I mean, I would. But shout out to the cat who tweeted me a screenshot of Trevor Lawrence's mom's Instagram where she posted like a meme about Trump and saying that he's not the perfect man, but he's perfect for the job or something. And like, that was his response to my tweet about, wow, like this lady's crazy, talking about Zach Wilson's mom, and say, like, cause I said, this lady's crazy. The New York media is going to have a field day with her. And like, that's the guy shot me back with that. He doesn't follow me. He doesn't have like any follower. Like that was the reply. It was almost like a bot, but it was too targeted. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just sitting there looking at it. I'm like, how do you watch that stuff and go on this lady's Instagram and see just how attention seeking and crazy she is? Like, whatever you think about Trump, and I know we've got people who listen to us from both sides of the angle, some that feel passionately, some that don't give a shit, and then some that feel passionately the other way. But whatever you think about Trump, like the lady just tweeted a meme. She's not out here with like, now you go to her Instagram story and it's like squares this big because there's so many of them on there. She just loves having her phone in her face and putting her freaking knowledge and her face out into the world. Like, those are like, you can't even compare the two. Even if Trevor Lawrence's mom only wears MAGA clothes to the grocery store, like only if she wears, like, as long as she's not online being uber embarrassing, then whatever. Like, I don't care.
Not everything is a political take. Like,
no,
that shit's over with. Stop that shit. It's 2021.
It's the year of our prince, the Lord, Trevor. So other observations with the whole deal. Seattle being on Halloween totally sucks as well after further review.
Fucking bone, yeah.
If you have any children, and especially young children, primarily young children,
you're not pleased with that one.
Wifey and I were talking about that a little bit ago, and I'm like, oh, it's on Halloween. That could be kind of cool. And she just kind of looked at me. She's like, you love Halloween with the kids.
Yeah, it's the most fun holiday with kids, dude.
Kids. Shit. That's right. That's right. And then I'm like, well, no, I mean, I want to go to Seattle really badly again. It's been 8 years. I always, like, since the last time we went, I said, no matter what happens, like, no matter where we are, what's going on in life, like in 8 years, when we come back, like, we're coming to Seattle. And because it was such a fun trip, such an awesome city. But so unfortunately, that's some breaking news to the timeline right there. I don't think there'll be any official trip out to Seattle this year, and there'll be no cap.
So are we on to Los Angeles?
No, man. I have zero desire to go to that fucking stadium.
Same here, bro. I could give a fuck about LA.
Yeah. I lived out that way. I lived in Orange County for a little while. I would like to go back and, hit up some of the old stomping grounds in Huntington Beach and that kind of thing. So a trip out there for that sort of appeals to me in some way, but just with the whole Jalen Ramsey thing, with it being the Rams, I got to be honest with you too, bro. California is a rough place to go as an away fan. I don't know if either of you have done a trip out there yet, but like San Diego, there were legit scary ass moments, bro.
Yeah.
Like we come here, like here's the deal. People talk about not wanting to go to Philly. Philly ain't got nothing on the fucking essays that are standing out in the fucking parking lot in Southern California waiting to knife your ass. Like,
but I wonder if it's like that at this new stadium.
It's all right there though. It's all the same spot. I mean, you can't even go to a Dodgers game and not wear Dodgers clothes.
Yeah, it's the same type of venue though, bro. I mean, it's a new venue, but it's the same type of attendees. You know what I mean? It's the type of sports fans, like Southern California sports fans, other than, I don't know, like hockey maybe, or soccer. Like it, and I don't want to sit here and paint with completely broad strokes, but like there is an element of that. It's not every fan that's there, obviously. They got a lot of normal ass fans. But yeah, there was, I mean, dudes with face tats with no shirt on, like wanting to jump across. We had homies that were sitting in that San Diego game on the lower level, and the dude just walked up to him and just pointed at him and was like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Face tats and shit. Like, and they're all like, okay, bro. Like,
I went to a game at Qualcomm with my mom, and some dude tried to fight me almost. Like,
yeah.
I was there with my fucking mom, dude.
Bro,
yeah, I would get killed.
Dude, the guy, let me tell you, story time real quick. The dude looks at him, says that, walks away, and they're all like, that was super weird. Comes back like 30. Now, mind you, this is one of the games out there where we're losing like 48-3 at halftime. I mean, we were like zero threat as a fan base inside that stadium. Like, people should have been buying us beers. Like,
that's like me. I was with my fucking mom. I wasn't threatening anybody. I was just walking along with my mom.
I feel like that day we were less threatening than you and your mom. That's how like low the threat level was. And these cats, so the next thing you know, the guy comes back like 30 minutes later and is like, stops at the aisle again and says, I'm going to kill you. This time he's got another dude with him. And they're just like, bro, what the fuck? And so, some guy who was like, of course, every friend of, every friend group has that one dude who's like, oh, fuck you, man. Like, whatever. And like, that's all these dudes were looking for. Next thing you know, homie with the face tats and no shirt on and his fucking boxers up by his belly button is jumping across the aisle, just trying to take out as many people as he can. Like just laying on top of people. Security comes, they yoke him up. He straight up looks at him. I'm going to find you outside and I'm going to kill you. Bro, the guy was waiting outside for them. Waiting outside. They had to fucking take off running. True stories. Like, and like, this was not a situation where like they were like bowing up, wanting to go. Like, they were just like, bro, like, chill out. We're just here watching the game.
Please kill me. The Jaguars fucking suck.
Yeah. Like, seriously, that day, death might have been better than sitting inside that stadium and watching that game and knowing that you paid money to travel there and be there for it in that shithole stadium. But yeah, so I don't know. Just all those things combined, trips out to California for games. I'm sure we'll make the trip at some point to LA with that big ass stadium and all that, but it's not super high on the list for me. You guys have kind of talked me into Houston. Houston, we have a problem.
Honestly, it's just if they were playing away week 1, I was going to go to wherever it was, and it's just Houston. So
yeah,
Solly lucks out because Solly was going to Houston regardless, and now we're all going with him.
Yeah, so there's some things already kind of being tossed in the air for potential stuff there.
I better book some shit before we put this podcast out then.
No, dude, it's a big city. Like, please, people, like, if you want to roll with us, don't feel like you got to run out there and book some shit. Right?
Go buy the gas now, or you're not going to be able to get there.
old filling up plastic bag head ass Solly over here.
This is all 93 octane right here. This whole.
That's it. Breakfast of Champions. No, so Houston, yeah, not a place that I like. I've been to Houston a few times, just never like have been in love with the city and the downtown and hanging out there, but some fun opportunities there being the first game. I mean, how do you pass up potentially first game of Trevor Lawrence? The Astros are at home, so that's a fun chance for a double dip. See another game while you're in town. Take that in. So we'll see with that. Cincy, it's kind of a bummer that it's the same month. It's only a couple of weeks later, but Thursday night, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence.
I'll be there.
You're going to go too? Yeah. Cincinnati. Look at the single guy over here. I'll be there.
Well, I was like, once I saw the schedule, I was going to do Houston. And then, all right, what I wanted to do, I knew last night, like yesterday, I tweeted out we had Houston, like at Houston. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to Houston. And then I wanted to go to New York for the Jets game, but it's on Christmas. I work retail. I can't fucking get that off. So then I was like, oh, Cincy, Thursday night football, time off work.
Yeah.
Right before, like, that's it. All that, like, September, early October is where I have to use the rest of my vacation before the end of the year's up because we hit that blackout. So it just works out for me pretty solid in that aspect.
I think it works out too. I tweeted this earlier. We're going to have to this is going to be a learning year from away fan travel and away trips for everybody in the NFL because a lot of stuff could get flexed. I mean, imagine making your plans to go to a game in Seattle on October, on Halloween, and say the Jags are good and Seattle's good, and they want to flex that bitch to Monday night or something. Or I don't know if when does it start to where they can
I
flex?
think they could do it in the past for the 16-game schedule. You could do it like starting week 10. I thought.
No, I think they moved it up now though.
Probably. It's
Yeah.
probably like week 4 because it's all about money. So whatever, like let's do it.
So, but that presents a problem for people who are traveling because what if the game's the next night or some shit or if it's not as much of a problem if you get flex from a 1 p.m. kick to Sunday night football. But yeah.
But I've seen that burn people too. People have a late flight out of town and they get kicked to 4 and they're like, well, now what? And I'm like, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah, you can't do that shit. You gotta take that next day.
You fly out today.
So from our perspective too, planning trips, collecting people's money, I am fronting tens of thousands of dollars sometimes, right? On tickets, buses, you name pregame parties, all that stuff. That shit has to be paid in advance. So the prospect of even any of that changing, right? So think about the pregame parties that we throw, the bar gates and shit like that. I reserve those for certain hours. If all of a sudden it becomes Sunday night football and the party is from fucking 10 to 12 that day, 10 to 12:30, what the fuck?
Then what do we do?
Yeah, what do we do? Hopefully the place can work with me and we can make it later, but there's no guarantee of that. So I think what we're going to have to do, at least in my mind, is the shit's going to have to be early season when we know stuff is guaranteed, and kind of go from there. But the other one I was thinking is Nashville is always an option. You get hop that Southwest flight up there, and it's always a good time. It would be fun to actually watch us beat them one day too. But
this is the year. This is the year we get Derrick Henry out of the paint.
Good. Maybe
He's got to get hurt. He's got to get hurt eventually, right?
Tebow could tackle him. I like it.
He's got to get. He has to miss a Jaguar game at least once.
Think of it. It'd be like the battle for the first coast. Beloved sons. Love it. That's a t-shirt right there.
I don't know if I want St. Johns County to beat Nassau County though.
No?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe.
I mean, look at us. Poor Duval County just sandwiched in the middle. We don't even know who to go for.
I don't know who to root for. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Mac Jones.
Yeah. There you go. I kind of wish that week 1 was at Indy because I want to go up to Indy with y'all. And I know you're going to Houston anyway, but I want to go to Indy with y'all. I'd like to do a big trip up there sometime because it is a fairly fun downtown. It's one that we haven't done, but hopefully we can cross Houston off the list too of Bold City away trips. I know we have a lot of fans in Texas as well, which would be cool.
Indy is a nice falls on a pretty nice weekend too if you get federal holidays because there's a Thursday I think is Veterans Day, which is a federal holiday, so you would have to take off your Friday and then maybe a Monday, 2 days, and you'd get like a 5-day trip.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be in Indy that long. It's kind of more like a 2-night place. Yeah, it's like a 2-night place. We're not talking Southern California here. I
went there in like 2010 and it was snowing, but I did go to a Pacers game. It was a cool downtown.
That is wifey did hit me with the realization when I was talking Nashville potentially because that's always a favorite spot of the fam. But she's like, remember last time we went in December? That shit was cold.
Dude, that was freezing.
I was glad I didn't. You guys were miserable.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was cold.
Rough.
But that was like New Year's. That was like New Year's Eve weekend, right?
Yeah. A little later, but so we'll see, man. I any thoughts on London being first of all having a game in London? What's the thoughts there?
I mean, it is what it is. Like when
let's go JJ's.
Let's go JJ's. Let's go.
Let's go JJ's. Let's go. No,
come on, JJ's.
I don't know. We've had the London game for so long now. I was more like when they said we were going back to it, I was like, oh fuck, that sucks. But it is what it is. And then when they announced that we were playing the Dolphins there, I was like, perfect. Like that's a great team to play in London. Like who gives it? Like, oh, we're not gonna go watch Tua go 10 for 29 and throw three interceptions. Like, who cares?
More importantly, we don't have to deal with the small subsect of people that live here that
Coming to the stadium.
Dolphins fanhood. We don't have to deal with the fucking Daytona Beach Dolphins that are going to come up, or the fucking Ocala, or the Panhandle, or the Southern Georgia. We don't have to deal with all these fucks who are still holding on to Dan Marino. We don't have to deal with them, and I'm fine with that. Couple things that I saw on the timeline today. One, some guy hit me with, well, you're probably not thinking of, shout out to the homies over in the UK. You know, we love you. But some guy was like, you're probably not thinking of the fact that there's so many Dolphin fans over here in the UK, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Shah Khan and Mark Lamping and everybody tells me that, like, London is teal. Like, they tell me London, like, we paint the town teal. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not aqua, it's teal. And second of all, it doesn't matter what game it is there, because that's what his point was. It's not going to be a home field advantage. It'll be like an away game. Sure. I'm like, they're going to a different fucking continent, my guy. Like, it's not like, what are we talking about here?
Breaking news. London games are not really like home games for the Jags.
Can I catch an Uber to London? Is that how that works?
There's like more Kaepernick jerseys in the stands than there are Jaguar jerseys at those games, man.
I'll say this too, though. You know, I'm well documented. I think we all are. Screw the London games. I want them to be over as soon as possible. I think they're, you know, and at a certain point, if Trevor's good and the team is decent and we're competitive consistently, it's just a competitive disadvantage.
Yeah.
To be the team that's going to do it every year. If you got to mix it in every few years, like it's appearing, maybe eventually the whole league's going to go to, fine. But just this facade of being London's team and all this crap, it's annoying. I don't like it. I hate it. With that said, I wouldn't mind taking the bold takeoff overseas one time. Like, I kind of feel like that's some content that we got to develop. And I don't know. I mean, so I guess, is that completely hypocritical of me? Like,
I didn't know you were going to go there with that, but I'm laughing and I like it. I think it would be really fucking funny.
I mean, live dispatches from Big Ben, live dispatches coming at you from top of the red double-decker bus. Like, come on. You need this.
Oh my God. How many times, what's the over under on how many times we would say, let's go JJ's at the game if we were there?
Hey, Kat, even more funny, since they're playing in London at a different stadium, what's it like knowing your beloved Jaguars are playing in Tottenham Stadium?
Ooh.
I mean, they're probably going to lose, like the home team seems to do a lot there anyway. So, I mean, they'll feel right at home.
Got him.
Got him.
I don't know how it's a got them. They're below us on the table.
It's frozen. We're not talking about Arsenal.
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, I'm talking about the Jaguars are going to go to the place where the team that
and lose
all the time and lose. So what are we going to do?
I missed it.
But we're not going to lose this time because we have Trevor.
Facts.
No, I'm serious though. Like,
they're good. People.
I kind of want to go. I kind of want to go with the two of you guys to London this year. And I want to take a megaphone into the game and just walk around and start, like, every section, start chants of let's go JJ's, let's go. Like, just absolutely paint that whole place ridiculously bold taked. Like, that's what I want to do.
That would be
fun. All right, let me know if we're going to do that, because then I can't go to Cincinnati, but I'm totally down.
Oh, my goodness. So yeah, London is that's, I guess it's very hypocritical of me because it's a game that I would like to go to one more time just because I enjoy the city of London more so.
I was gonna say that's because London's sweet. It's not because the Jaguars playing in London is.
Yeah, if like it was in Frankfurt or some shit, I wouldn't want to go. Or even Manchester. But
yeah,
I can promise you this: if we do go, we got one bomb ass meal from Cass's family that we could stop and get.
Oh yeah.
Coming to us.
Sure.
They would treat you like family.
They live in West London, right, Solly?
No, they live right by they live right by Wembley, actually. Or right next to Wembley in the same neighborhood.
That's out there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's out there a little bit.
That's out there. Yeah.
We took
That's a ride.
we took like a 45-minute drive probably to get to them. They came and got us. They have like so even out that far, dude, the houses are not big. It's I would have called it like a townhouse almost. But like to them it's like a house, you know what I mean? It's huge.
It's a house.
Yeah. With a garden.
Yeah. Well, to the listeners, drop in the comments here on YouTube or tweet us at the pod handle or our handles. Let us know where you're going. Right? Let's start a little even if you're going to an away game that you're pumped on, right? Like we're big on fan travel, supporter travel, all that stuff. Let's start a thread of where you're going, link you up with other people, even if BCB's not going, even if we're not going. Like that's one of my favorite things to do is say, hey, sorry, we're not going to be in Indy, but you need to link up with so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And
yeah, like the group that
honestly,
went to the group that went to the draft this year, for example.
Yeah, well, that's more BCB affiliated, but the homie from BCB San Antonio put that whole thing together, and he's already hit me up like, hey, let's think about doing something like that for Houston. And I'm like, all right, well, let's figure out what we're looking at first and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's just, that's how I got started traveling and meeting random people. And it's really cool. You build those relationships with folks around the country. So drop in the comments below, as well as hit us up at the handle, and we'll start some good threads going of where everybody's going. Cause I know everybody out there is excited to get to some games this season, especially on the road. And for some of y'all that live abroad outside of Jacksonville, it's coming to Jacksonville, which, I think we're sitting here and we're not talking about any of the home games. That's what's funny. We're like, home game. Yeah, we'll be there. Sounds good. But in reality, it's for us, we get fired up about the away stuff too. Yeah.
Home game.
I encourage anybody out there. Well, I encourage anybody out there, even if you're in Jacksonville and you go to all the home games and you have the means, go take an away trip. Come on one of the ones with us, because we kind of make it a lot easier, right? And you'll feel like strength in numbers and such. But that's probably, I've gotten to the point where maybe it's because the team has sucked for so long too, but I've gotten to the point where I really enjoy a lot of these away trips, sometimes more than I do a lot of the home games. Just because there's a special thing. It's just this feeling knowing that you're going into a stadium and you're one of maybe a couple thousand people that are there to watch your team play, and understanding the sacrifice that you made to travel, to take a vacation time, to spend the money to fly out there, drive, get a hotel, all that stuff. Like you just feel a different bond, I feel like, with people who are there, and even with the team. So,
no, that's definitely it. If you wonder how we all became such good friends, it's because we all traveled and met each other out. When you hang out with this 3, 10, 15 people for 3 days straight, you're going to become really good friends. You're going to drink a lot of alcohol, and you're going to say a bunch of funny shit, and you're going to do a bunch of cool stuff, and you're going to make lifelong friends. So even if we don't go, the three of us go, if it's not an official trip, go. People are going. People are going to go to every game.
You really bond when you share a toilet with somebody. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I wasn't going in that direction, but no,
I'll wipe Solly's ass for him if he needs it.
Yeah, I mean, ditto for both of you. Listen, you make memories, and that's really what this shit is about. And unfortunately, we haven't had a lot of memories to make on the field, or there are a lot of positive memories that have happened on the field. And so I think that's why we gravitate so strongly to the memories we've made off of it, for sure. And that's what it's all about. Home games, away games, it's all about memories. That's the shit we take with us, man. I don't remember how good the fucking team was 10 years ago. They were probably terrible.
They're bad.
Yeah, I mean, shocker. But I don't remember the fucking record. I don't remember any of that. But I remember Seattle and me and Ocho Fisho making beer towers with the fucking plastic cups that we drank because we were losing by 47 because Mike Sims Walker decided to go out the fucking night before and get some tail. I remember that kind of shit, but I don't remember the final score of that game, any of that. But I remember it's the memories. So that's
the final score was 75-3.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you can tell me that and I believe you at this point. I drank that much. I let people buy me a fucking kilt on that trip. So, which is another negative to this whole thing about Seattle being on fucking the 31st. The kilt can't make its triumphant return to the Pacific Northwest. It's
I
terrible.
really want to go to Seattle, man.
I know.
God.
Maybe it'll get flexed to the day after Halloween, and we can and we can hop a late plane out there on Saturday and because then we still have to miss Halloween.
Yeah, I was gonna say Halloween's on Sunday, dog.
Yeah,
Nothing we can do about that shit, man.
There's nothing. There's nothing unless you want to just take that early morning flight the morning after Halloween that we'd be out there. I don't know.
Take the kids to Seattle with you.
There you go.
I'm joking.
Jackson's already asked me. He's like, Dad, do I get to go to any away games this year? And I'm like, I don't know, Chief.
I don't think so, boss.
I don't know.
All we gotta do is get him a fake ID. We'll be golden, dude.
Yeah, until you can walk in the bars with Daddy, like I don't really know, like, and I want there's a small part of me that feels bad because like if he has that interest, like that's cool. But then at the same time, I don't feel as bad because he's been going to he's had his own season ticket since he was like this big, So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you got it a lot more than just about every other kid out there.
Few more years, kid. Once you can get into the bar, then you're game. Come on.
Then you're good. Then you're good. So, anything else, fellas?
I don't think so.
Rookie camp starting. You guys think Trevor Lawrence is gonna throw?
He's a competitor. I think he's gonna be throwing, and I think Urban's gonna be standing right next to him, so he can
The whole time, just so he can listen to the ball.
just so he can listen.
With a
Hey,
bone.
Hey, every time he throws a football, I just emoji all over the place. I'm like,
I think that Urban's going to be at the field, standing right next to him, and then motioning for everyone, like the janitor, the guy who sets up the barricades, and be like, "Come here, listen to this. Listen to this. I want you to hear this. Do you hear that coming out of his Gardner? You come here. Now hear this guy. Now hear this guy. Hear this guy right here." That's what's going to be going on.
Oh man.
let's go, JJ's. Let's go.
Let's go, JJ's. Let's go.
Let's go,
Is that it, fellas?
JJ's. Let's go.
Is that it? Or are we done? Is that the episode?
I think so, dude.
I like it. All right. Well, we forgot. No.
What?
Oh, we should have gotten Pete to say it. That's bad luck. We gotta get him to tweet it.
Oh shit.
Love you, JB.
Well, he's not at the end of the episode, so technically he's not here.
We still should have just said it. We should have.
We should have got it. We should have got it.
I was
Sorry,
texting
JB.
Jake earlier, so I took a picture of us, and then I said, "I don't know if it'll work. Love you, JB." It won't work, but it says "Love you, JB," and then he hearted it.
Love
He
you,
loves
JB.
us too.
Love you, JB.
Love you, JB.